All right, good afternoon, everybody. We've got a little bit of breaking news. Not directly Seahawks breaking news, but hey, it concerns the division rival and it certainly concerns some Seahawks fans. I'll put it that way. There are certainly some Seahawks fans who had an eye on this situation for various reasons. Some people just wanted to see what was going to happen. Some people wanted the Seahawks to get involved in one way or another. But the door looks like it has closed, per Adam Schefter about 5 minutes ago. The San Francisco 49ers and quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo have reached an agreement. And that agreement will basically throw out his old contract and replace it with a new one. It's a 1 year deal that will keep him in Frisco for this season. And there's a no trade and no tag clause, meaning that he will be a free agent next year. But for this year, he's not on the market. So this obviously means different things to the 49ers and their fans, but purely from a Seahawks perspective, that means he's not coming to Seattle. No Jimmy Garoppolo in Seattle. He will not be a Seahawk. They want to keep him around as a backup behind Trey Lance. I think that there's some uncertainty about what Trey Lance is going to be this year because of his youth, because of his inexperience. So they want to give themselves a chance to compete with a backup they've at least had some experience winning with in previous years, so that if things don't work out with him, at least you have a security blanket that isn't Brock Purdy, right? So the details of the contract are $6.5 million with another $500,000 in roster bonuses. There are some playtime bonuses that could boost it up to $16 million. So this is not a vet min deal. This is probably going to give him about $7 million. And if he plays a decent amount, which is possible, we are talking $16 million. So he did not come dirt cheap. And you guys know what I think of Jimmy Garoppolo at this point. I think he's terrible. I think he's a vetman player. I don't think he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. But the win-loss record has warranted him a little bit of cash. And again, that's for the 49ers to concern themselves with. Doesn't really matter that much to me how much money he's making from the Niners. It has nothing to do with us. What it has to do with us is that, well, he's not going to be here in 2022. And I continue to believe that is the best possible outcome. I don't want Jimmy. I never wanted Jimmy. I don't think he's significantly better than Geno Smith. Honestly, in this circumstance, I think he's worse than Geno Smith. Geno Smith has a better arm, and Geno Smith has experience playing with these players in this offense. I had some people in my chats the last couple of streams I did say that we're going to bring in Jimmy and start him week one, which I always found to be laughable. The idea that you were going to bring in a quarterback who had never played with guys like DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Noah Fant before ever in any context, unless, I don't know, they're playing catch in the parking lot in a game like right before the game between Seahawks and 49ers or 49ers and Broncos at some point. And you're going to put him in the starting lineup less than 2 weeks after he gets here? Like, that never made any sense to me. Geno has some experience with these guys. He is the superior option for this team at this time. He just is. And I know some people are very, very anti-Geno. They think he's terrible. But as far as I'm concerned, the difference between him and Jimmy is very thin. Jimmy's a little better at getting the ball out of his hands quickly, but Jimmy has no arm. Geno, who does not have a great arm, has a better arm than Jimmy. And even though Jimmy has been protected over the last couple years by one of the greatest running games in the NFL and a great offensive coordinator and good teammates, he still turns the ball over way more than he should. He's not even a very good bus driver. Geno's not good, but at least he protects the ball. Ever since he got here, He's done a good job protecting the ball. He did it last year, and he did it in the preseason this year. So, as far as I'm concerned, if you want to see Pete Carroll blow a gasket, get Jimmy in here with his zero arm strength, and yet he still finds a way to turn the ball over way more than he should. You want to see Pete get mad, Jimmy's going to make him mad. So it never made any sense to me. I never wanted him. I don't think he's good. I don't think he's a good fit for what we're trying to do. As much as Geno doesn't have a great arm, if you bring in Jimmy, you can say bye-bye to the deep shots to Lockett and Metcalf that do make up a good chunk of their game. And I know there's more to their games than just that. And I know they're not going to be able to do that stuff as much with Geno compared to Wilson. But with Jimmy, toss it out. So I don't know if the team ever actually had interest in him. That's a debate that a lot of people are having right now, but it's a moot point. The Niners have taken the decision away from us. So we'll never know if the team actually wanted to get him. I will say this to the people out there who thought that we were going to pick up Jimmy and start him week 1 against Denver. Do you really think this team would have named Geno the starter and then yanked it away from him before game 1 for some guy they just signed? Like think about it like that for a second, okay? Think about it like that. Do you really think we're going to sign a guy who has never been part of this organization before, and we're just going to plug him into the starting role, even though Geno had already been named starter right after that third preseason game? So are you bringing in Jimmy to be your backup until such a time as you don't like what Geno's doing? Are you going to pay Jimmy Garoppolo? He got $7 million from the Niners. Maybe if he hits the open market, you get him for $5 instead. You're going to bring in a guy and pay him more than the veteran minimum to potentially never play for you. It just, the whole thing never made any sense to me. Even if I thought Jimmy was an okay quarterback, which I don't, I think he sucks, it still wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to me. This is not fantasy football. You can't just pull players in and plug them in and they just immediately start performing for you. No, there's a thing called your relationship, your camaraderie, your connection with your teammates. Jimmy has none of that with any of these players. Has he played with any of our players before at any point in his life? I don't think so. But, hey, it's not up to us now. There were some reports that the Seahawks were going to try to pick him up, but they're not picking him up now because Jimmy's agreed to that restructured deal. There was some talk that we were going to try to trade for him, but the trade talks didn't get that far. Well, clearly the Niners have decided to move in a different direction. I think it makes sense for him, by the way. Trey Lance is far from a sure thing. Jimmy has a decent opportunity to get some playing time this year behind a guy who may get hurt and may just not be very good. So it's an opportunity for him to get another contract next year that's more than a veteran minimum contract if he plays decently. But, yeah, from a Seahawks perspective, I am relieved this saga is over. Jimmy G will not be a Seattle Seahawk. He will not be anything other than a 49er this year, in fact. So let me know what you guys think down below. I know some people aren't going to be happy about it, but personally, I'm happy we can stop talking about this. I'm happy it's over. I'm ready to get my 5 to 7 wins or whatever it's going to be with Geno Smith and bring on 2023. Jimmy G wasn't going to do much better as far as I'm concerned, so bring it on. All right, see you guys later tonight on stream. Going to be on Twitch. Go Hawks.